All right. If you're just if you're just getting with us, wait 1 second. Listen, real quick. If you're just getting with us, just starting this fresh. Did it start now? Yeah. The first like 15-20 minutes or so is going to be the review portion. I'm going to read everything I've got written down, and then afterwards we're going to go into the comments live now and discuss the first and second episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. So if you want to just stick for the review portion, we're going to try to tweak this as we go along throughout the season, so that way we have everything perfected for The Walking Dead, but that will be the structure for the first impression reviews, so that way you can catch the first 20 minutes of the old-fashioned review, unedited and live, and then afterwards I'll take your questions. So those of you who don't want to be involved in that, you guys can get out of here, because I have like a good 20% that just want the review portion and they don't want to interact, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to split that up. Give me 1 second though, I want to get a backup iced tea. Yo, does anyone see this? Pepsi Fire. It's got cinnamon in it or something. Now listen. Alright, it's delayed. Yo, I just looked at the thing because there's like a 20-30 second delay. And I just looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm not there. Man, because I'm watching what you're watching live, but there's a 30-second delay. Anyhow, that's crazy. That tripped me out. We're going to get into this in 2 minutes. I see a lot of people talking it's good things, and that's pretty awesome. Let me address this, because we get this constantly. No, it's not only live videos. I'm done talking though. I did an update video. If you're curious about the live videos, I did a specific video that's on this channel that explains the live and the transition since the move. You know what I mean? So if you want the information, it's there. It's in a full video. All the information you want to get. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people probably won't like this video because I could see a lot of people are happy about the episode, but I wasn't. I thought it was all right. You know, I went into episode 1 with high hopes, and by the end of episode 1, I liked it. I really did. I liked it. There was not a lot that I had problems with. Like in season 2, I had a lot of problems with the character decisions, but in season 3, it wasn't character decisions at all. I think there was a lot of parts that I just felt like nothing was fresh. Nothing's new. It's like we're retreading the old ground. And then in the first 2 minutes in the intro, when they killed Travis on episode 2, I just stopped watching and started building the shelves behind me. I mean, I was still watching, but episode 1 I was like intense, and then episode 2 came and I was like, that's just the worst death in my opinion. I see a lot of people who like it. They like it because it was, you know, shocking and sudden, and I like those deaths too that are shocking and sudden, but I feel like that's empty, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to run down the lists if you give me 10 or 15 minutes. So for everyone who wants to participate, in a minute we'll get to the comments. I'm going to burn really quickly though. The first thing, edits. Episode 1 was so poorly constructed with the edits and the directions. I don't know if it was the director or the editor or both, but if the rest of the season was as bad as episode 1, and we're talking every half a second there was another edit. It's like the face, this, that, and the shaky cam. If it was so bad, if it was just like that through the whole season, I would never watch another episode. It was almost unbearable. They did have still moments, sure, but once you got to action, it was as if the director, the editor, I don't know who, it was as if they had no confidence in their own abilities to film what they were filming. They just decided to edit it and shake shit around to make it seem exciting. Probably some of the worst. It was just bad. And again, story-wise, I'm liking episode 1, but the editing and the direction was so god awful. It's just, I can't even believe it made it to TV. It's embarrassing how bad it was. Let me know if you guys saw edits to be a problem in your opinion. I think it's a problem all throughout Hollywood. So it's not just AMC, it's not just Fear the Walking Dead. All of Hollywood, especially fight scenes. There's no skill anymore. There's no talent as far as behind the camera. It's just let's just show, you know, half a second, multiple edits, hand, gun, face, punch, fist, up close, you know, far away, da-da-da-da. All right, so Travis sees Nick, and this was reminiscent of The Walking Dead Season 5. Travis sees Nick, they're having these experiments. It's just like Terminus, except for, you know, it's military people doing experiments instead of cannibals, and this is what I mean about it not feeling fresh. I love it when they mirror things, and we'll get to that in a second. I love when The Walking Dead does it. I love when other shows do it. But there's a moment where you have to understand that with Fear the Walking Dead, if you constantly do stuff that is from the other show, it's just going to feel, it's not going to feel fresh and unique and new and interesting. Let's see, the bathroom shooting, Travis, that was awesome though. When they brought him in and they were shooting, and they shot the guy, and Nick grabs Lucy, and then they pan over and you see Travis, and he's like, he doesn't give a fuck. That part I really, really liked. So they're locked in the room. This is another con, because they're locked in a regular office, and she's trying to make a weapon out of the chair, I guess. But why didn't she just take the chair and smash the window? It was one of those, like, they are so desperate to leave, they're looking through the roof to try to crawl through the ceiling and shit, but they could just smash the window out. And later we realize it's just a window to a hall that leads into, you know, one of those trailers or some shit like that. So I don't know, that it made her and Alicia's attempts to escape or whatever the hell they were doing seem really silly. We have a moment where it's the spoon in the eye, and again, we're same old bullshit. The governor, and then you got this guy in the comic. What I do like though, and as if they did this to kind of you know, pull something, like pay homage to the comic book. In the comic, Michonne took a spoon and she pops out the governor's eye. She does some foul stuff with the spoon, but that's one moment. And Madison did the spoon thing here, except for she popped the eye out, but she stuck it in there. So I felt like they were kind of paying homage to the comic, which is kind of neat, you know, and I like that, and that's fine. But the bad guy just, it felt like the same old shit with the governor. You have this guy who's putting on this friendly smile. I don't know. It's too reminiscent. Nothing's new and fresh about it. And again, I think it hurt some of the interest when I was watching that, because it's like, okay, this is the governor, you know, 2.0, generic governor. What do we got? Okay, the army, they're still doing experiments, but they're packing up to leave. And they're not getting ready to leave in a few weeks or something, you know, so the experiments are important. They're leaving now. So it just felt like the experiments were pointless because they clearly were doing a good amount of experiments before. What do we got? Nick, Madison's sister, the failed reunion. I would have loved the reunion. I think reunions and certain things like that in The Walking Dead, in Game of Thrones, there's some moments where it's like a reward for the fans. And I think when you do it well, like Rick having a reunion with Judith, Rick and Carl and everybody, Sasha reuniting with Tyrese in those moments, I thought it was Maggie and Glenn. In Game of Thrones, I don't want to throw any spoilers out for those who haven't seen it, but there's characters that reunite, and they do it so well because you love the story. It's a reward. The reunion here fell flat on its face because, again, I didn't care about the story they made to split up Nick and the family. So that reunion, it didn't do anything. And when I went online, I seen a number of comments that felt the same way. The reunion just felt flat. And that's one thing why rewards are so very important. If you don't set up a good story for why they split apart, when they reunite, it's not going to matter. You know, it's not going to hit us in the gut the way it should. We have the wall vent. I wrote down, fuck out of here, but that was so cool. Where the guy takes a wall vent and the rats come out, and then the zombies bite him and they pull him in. It like folds his body up. You can say that's, unrealistic and stupid and blah blah blah, but that's good old-fashioned zombie genre gore right there. I loved it. I got a kick out of that. So if you don't like it, that's fine, but for me, I got a kick out of that. I could see some people calling bullshit on that, but I liked it. The slow moving zombies, all of a sudden they're everywhere. I think that's kind of problematic and dumb. It shouldn't have been there. They should have had a unique way. You could have had a different unique way to have them pop up somehow as if they were distracted on this end. It just felt like all of a sudden they're right by Nick and them, and they're slow moving zombies. Oh yeah, she almost took his eye out, but he saves her. That moment was a little iffy. I would have rather have someone else save her because it just took me out of the moment. Like, I don't care if I'm a monster. If you almost take out my eye, I'm leaving you there. You know what I mean? Especially since I don't have to do anything but not shoot. Forget about it. That ain't happening. We got okay, so that's episode 1. Those are only a handful of things that were problematic. Everything outside of that, I had some fun with. There was those moments kind of bringing the interest down a little bit, but I still had a lot of fun with, and I was still excited about the season to come. So I'm still in high spirits going into episode 2. Right off the bat, we get the Travis death, which at first I thought he was bitten, but then I found out the showrunner said he got shot up through his groin, and he talked about a Apocalypse Now, I believe it was, where the soldiers sat on their helmets so they wouldn't get shot in the groin and ass. And this is a death that it felt like it was out of place. And I know the actor got cast for Avatar so early into this season. I do feel like he might have got cast afterwards. But there's something about it that I don't know. It is so out of place. It feels like something happened. It feels like the actor just said, I don't want to be in the show anymore, whoop-de-whoop, or I got to go do something else, so kill me off. It was that out of place. Like, they couldn't even wait for everyone to be around, and it just so happened to be with him and Alicia. I do see a handful of people saying they like the death, and that's fine, but I hated it. I despised it. And this is the stuff I was talking about, though, where they kind of wrote themselves into a corner just having this little core group of family, because once you start building the connections, you're going to start losing your audience. And I lost a lot of interest just off with that character alone, not just because it was like, oh, he was my favorite character and I don't want to watch anymore because the show revolves around him. It's not that at all. It was a combination, a lethal combination of feeling weak, unimportant, out of place, dumb, forced. It was just like one of the main character deaths, and they had so much development. They had so much going on with them, and the showrunner's explanation on Fear the Walking Dead, Talking Dead, was that he couldn't save his own son. So then he definitely saved, Alicia's son, Nick, and whatever, and his role, it was full circle, and that was it. His story's over. And I just just don't agree with that, and I feel like they're covering for something, because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is so weak to come full circle for a character. It hurts my brain thinking about that. So I don't think, there's no way you're going to convince me that that was an organic moment, unless maybe they got nervous because of the ratings and they decided they need to take a drastic step. And I feel like this was a step off of a cliff. They never should have did that. Now here's the thing. I'm not saying the character should have had plot armor. You know what I mean? Yeah, kill the character. The most important aspect is, what does this do for the story? That is the most important aspect. I don't give a damn about shock and awe. Shock and awe is probably the easiest thing to do. Any idiot can write a screenplay with shock and awe, because you just throw something in there that doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like Die Hard. Bruce Willis is kicking ass, and then all of a sudden he gets shot in the face halfway through the movie. You'd be shocked. It'd be like, whoa, because he's the main character. But look how stupid that is. He's the main character. It's such a bad decision to make. Now, there's one little ray of hope, though. On a positive note, the people who shot the helicopter. Now Madison, and again, this gets a little forced, and again, it's retreading old ground. Rick gets to Alexandria, and he says what, to Carol and Daryl? You know what? Even if these people can't hack it, we'll just take this place over. Madison, what does she say? Even if we have to, we'll just take this place over. It's becoming problematic in the world of The Walking Dead, where we're getting the same stories. It's like dating the same chick, different dress. You know what I mean? Just because you change her outfit doesn't mean it's not the same chick underneath. And that is becoming problematic with the overall story, with so many similarities. And you would think, since we can see it, you know what I mean? Avoid it. Anything that's similar, say, you know what, let's go this direction. Let's give them something fresh and unique and different. But no, now here's the shining ray of hope, is the fact that the people who shot at the helicopter when Madison says, we're going to stay here and whoop-de-whoop, she could now go after on a revenge mission, not as generic and simple as just a revenge mission, but she can use that as drive, as motivation to pay them back, to pay Travis back. He died getting them there and all that. You guys heard what she said too. I don't want to go over her whole dialogue, plus I'll probably butcher it, but that was the whole thing. Her character motivation right now is that this is fate. Travis died for this. So if she catches wind that maybe there's a group out there, maybe this certain group is the group that shot and killed Travis and they're responsible for it, that might be set up for, halfway through the season. That might be set up for the second half. That might be set up going into season 4. The problem with that, though, is I feel like that's such a weak setup. They could have kept Travis around and had a ton of better story and then killed him off in a moment where it really kicked the story in the balls. At the same time, it lifted it up and shot it off into a different path. You know what I mean? Or over to the field goal. Now, what do we got here? And I was talking about things feel like it's not fresh, not unique, it's not new. Oh no, that's not true. Never mind. I was gonna say Travis died too similar to his wife. That ain't true at all, because I thought he got bit when he showed his guts, but it was confirmed he got shot underneath. So never mind on that. That's me putting my foot in my mouth and not crossing out a note when I should have. Everyone at the hotel should die. I wrote that because they all suck. This is a problem with shit characters. You can write a character who's an asshole. Negan's an asshole. He's one of the worst kinds of assholes, but he's an interesting asshole. Very interesting. That, he's charismatic, magnetic. You want to watch him. You want to see what he's going to do. In a comic book, you don't watch him, but he's so interesting. You want to see what he does next. The people at the hotel are so dumb and frustrating. I just want them to die violently. You know what I mean? Before Strand left, I was just wishing he would kill some of them. I thought maybe he would start by throwing that chick off the balcony and then he would just go and murder everyone on his way out. The dude standing there with a gun, that Hector dude, I hate the characters. I don't hate them like I hate like Negan for killing such and such. I hate them because I think they're shit characters. The one guy's motivation's all over the place. It doesn't make sense. That other chick is like, oh, you lied. You did something to help people, but you lied, so you need to go. It's like, holy fuck. Get away from these characters as soon as possible. And yes, this is Strand who stayed back at a hotel. It's a part of the story I hated, and now he's kicked out. So it's like, well, why didn't he just fucking leave? So now we have all our characters together. I would have liked Strand better in this story. I would have been more interested to see what Strand was going to do with this story, in the army, the military people, and then going. Maybe if Strand was there when Travis got shot, maybe that would have done something a little, it would have wrapped the story up a little bit better between Madison hearing what happened from Strand, since that bond they were growing. That bond seems so important, and now I'm feeling like that was wasted time as well. What are they doing with that bond between Madison and Strand? Anyway, moving on down, we're almost at the bottom of the list. We have people versus people standoffs, it's getting too much. This is the Nick situation where he pulls the gun and whatever. We saw it coming a mile away. It was a scene we don't need. We don't need these standoff scenes anymore in the world of The Walking Dead. It's not needed. I would have preferred, and I think it would be better writing if Nick pled his case and said, you know, this is someone who's a soldier. You just lost a chick in the helicopter. You are losing people, or you lost a couple people at the base and whatever. This is a person who, before she got shot by your son while she was unarmed, you know, she had a gun, but she didn't have it up. We were walking in peace, and he gunned her down. This is someone who's a leader. She's a soldier, and whoop-de-whoop. I would have liked that better. That would have been more compelling, the words, instead of just having two idiots holding guns at each other. I think that could have been scrapped, because that didn't do dick for the story. It was a little bit silly. Madison, she finds out Travis is dead. That whole scene, the reveal, those are important moments. Those are not moments you should skim over. I thought that was weak and pretty much just ass. She cries a little. At one moment, she tells Alicia, she's like, just go, I need a moment. And I thought they were going to do something interesting with that, but she immediately turns around and just goes in the same direction Alicia goes. And then I believe it was the next day. I guess she was doing some drinking, or maybe they implied that. It felt like it was the same day for me, but the way they talked, it made it seem like it was maybe the next day, or maybe they were just talking about hangovers. I don't know. But anyway, the whole reveal with Travis, for me, it just fell flat on its face. I'm not knocking it. You know, it didn't bring the episode down for me. It just didn't bring me up. I was just kind of watching it like I would watch any old normal show, you know what I mean? And I shouldn't be doing that. I should be watching this show like on the edge of my seat, because they should be bringing their A game. What do we have here? Tells Alicia to go. Oh yeah, Madison take over. Yeah, I already talked about that. It's too much like Rick and Alexandria. Only little ray of hope is the gunshot leads to the dun-dun-dun, but weak is our fate. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it. With the notes I have written down now, I did talk a lot about the negative stuff, because the negative stuff is the moments that took me out of the story. Some moments I thought were just poorly done, and this, that, and a third. Anything outside of that, chances are I liked it. If I didn't like it enough to write it down, there was a moment I didn't write down that was just weird as hell with the Nick and the mom, and they went in for that hug and he had a gun, and they made fun of it on The Talking Dead, and I completely agree with him. However that was filmed was weird as shit. You could have done that a lot better, you know, many different ways. They didn't even need to do a weird hug. That was just odd. She could have simply said, hey, listen, come here, I love you, I have a gun. You know, I found it at such and such when we stopped. They didn't need that whole whatever. So anything outside of this, I didn't love it, you know. There was moments I loved. There was moments I really did like with the Travis, the wall scene for the zombie gore. I did love some of the gore that they didn't shy away. There was other moments that I really did like. There was some moments I thought were just okay. But throughout a majority of the second episode especially, I was pretty much just going through the motions watching it. It wasn't horrible. Again, not the moments we're talking about. We already discussed those. Those are bad. But it wasn't anything I didn't mention. It wasn't absolutely horrible, you know. But it just didn't. It didn't make me all that excited for what is coming up. At this point now, I think I was super excited before episode 1. And going into episode 3, I think I am a lot less excited, but I'm definitely still interested. I'm not at the moment where I'm going to just give up on the show and stop reviewing it, but we are pretty close to where I'm not doing prediction videos for it. And I think you guys will like that anyway, because I have other Walking Dead videos that I've been talking about for a year now to get up. And those videos compared to these videos will probably have, you know, 80% more people interested in that anyway. But I still want them to put together a really strong season 3, and then going into season 4, I'm real curious to see what the changes are going to do. So I'm not close at all to give it up with the show, but I am interested to see what the Walking Dead family thinks about this episode, so or about these 2 episodes. So I'm gonna go into the chat now. I'm gonna pop the chat out, see what you guys have to say, and then anyone who's not interested in just strictly my opinion anymore, I'm going to go into the chat, and then at the end of this, it'll probably be, it'll probably be about 40 more minutes. I'll probably just do a closing follow-up about what we discussed. So, if you have anything you want to add, put a Q&A first thing in your comment, and then I will go through and see what's going on with as many of the questions. But if you want to participate strictly, put a Q&A. It just makes it easier to find those specifically for. So I'm going to go scrolling through. Cena, what is this? I see whiny. Nick girlfriend is so whiny and all. She's going, wait, for her and her looks. Nick's girlfriend, so whiny. She didn't even wake up this episode, right? What are you talking about? She said some shit in season 2, definitely, where I was like, what are you talking about, lady? But yeah, she didn't. The gospel, I wonder if we'll see Walker Travis with his guts hanging out. They were pretty high up. I don't know if we'd see Walker Travis. I mean, they were pretty high up. If somebody can just simply take, a license plate. They had a license plate and crash in, chop off a zombie's head. Yes, it was a rotted zombie, but if they can do that, a fall out of a helicopter, I don't think I'm going to believe it if they find Travis walking around like a zombie. I don't know. I'm not going to believe it. Maybe if I rewatch it and they're not that high, maybe I'll buy into it. But this season started good, then I watched the second episode. You never know. It might make a strong comeback with episode 3. They still do have a strong potential with this group here, because it could seem like a problematic group that they're with, and the group could turn out to be allies, and they could fight against an even dangerous threat that's out there, a threat that shoots at a random helicopter that's not dangerous to them. You know what I mean? So you never know. There's potential. But then again, think about it. They get to a place where they think there might be problems, but they turn into allies and they stay there. It's Alexandria 2.0. And again, these are moments where I really wish they would have writers that go in there and say, okay, let's do this. Somebody raises their hands and they go, yeah, but this is essentially Alexandria with a different dress. And then they go, okay, let's scrap that and write something completely new. And yeah, that might take a lot of work or some work or a good amount of work, but I feel like they'll hit their 10 million viewers if they start writing it based on that alone, because a lot of people started watching The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead for something new and fresh. You know what I mean? We don't want to see the same thing. We don't want to see... Who wants to see a guy with a baseball bat show up in Fear the Walking Dead, you don't, because we already have that. Same thing with an Alexandria-style community. Same thing with a governor-style bad guy. And look at the guy's got a fucking eye patch, and his eye was taken out with a spoon, just like Comic Governor. Some of those pay an homage. I love it. I'm a huge fan of mirroring shit and paying homages. But at the same time, I said that all messed up. At the same time, I want a new and interesting story. I want them to breathe life into it, and I feel like it's just missing that breath of fresh air a little bit. What else we got? I don't know about that. Kate said, Katie Gat. Oh, I messed that up. Kim Dickens didn't deliver a strong performance over the Travis death reveal. I like Kim Dickens. I really like Kim Dickens, and I don't know if it's just her or it was the direction or how they decided to film it. Because keep in mind, they didn't decide to film this as a reveal that Travis is dead. It was a reveal, a crisis, you know what I mean, with Lucy. And then after that, we had a really choppy reveal, or not a reveal, but dealing with it. So there was a few edits, I think like 3 or 4, showing her leaning on a tree, looking up, breathing deep. It could have been how they decided to film it. It could have just been sucking the emotion out of her, and she couldn't come to that moment. But I agree with you. And again, I love Kim Dickens. I like her so. Well, in what I've seen her at, Luciana is strong. She was the trade backbone of the Colonia. Yeah, that could have been an important detail to bring up, and say, hey guys, listen, I thought Nick was feeling her ass. I was like, Nick, what the hell? Then it was a ploy. Yeah, the scene felt incest-like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Dude, they did do that with Travis' death. I don't know what you're talking about now. Chops the Clown. If you were a show writer, how would you have handled killing Travis? I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. I would have argued and threw a temper tantrum. It's not right. It's not right at this moment. Not at all. The only way I would have killed him if he had to leave for a different project or he didn't want to work on the show anymore. In that case, you got to kill them off, I guess. But wouldn't have done it. I would have done it later on, absolutely. And you have to do it in a way where it does propel the story. Like if you want it to propel the story, right, to where they're dealing with this other community, then do it in a way where they catch wind of the community, they hear about the community. Do it in a way where they get there and Travis is the one who explains to them, listen, these people, you know, it might come to a point where we do have to fight and kill. Madison brings it up. And again, I'm sticking with what they got, so you just polish and tweak it a little bit. Have a few episodes go by with this Travis trying to talk Madison into this moment, and maybe they do go out on a scouting mission or whatever. Keep the focus on Madison and Travis, and that's, again, if you must kill him. If you didn't, you could probably keep him out until season 3 and then kill him off in season 4. But then have the moment with her and Travis, and then maybe catch wind that the group they were, you know, kind of not spying on but looking into, they were the ones that did shoot at him, and have Madison there. I think that's extremely important. I think that alone, giving them more time, flesh out the characters, flesh out the development, put Travis in touch with this community, and then have them go off. Make a decision that is extremely important. Like, Nick is the one who makes the choice. Nick does something. Like, right now, Nick is the one who is kind of loosely responsible, but make it where Nick is definitely responsible. And then in some way, shape, or form, Travis's death is definitely on Nick's hands, and that drives a wedge between Madison and Nick. Now you can just a quick polish. Now you have the ability, if you want to use that wedge between Madison and Nick, which is something that fans don't see coming because there's such that weird connection where she's always hunting him down, even though he's like, ah, fuck you, family, you know? And then you have that connection with Travis in the community, and now you have the revenge, and now you did what they want now. Well, it's what it looks like they want now. So now you essentially got to the same place, but you have more story options, and I'm sure if you actually sat down to polish it up, maybe you could come up with something totally different than what we talked about, but you're hitting the points where you can pull more out of the story to push the story into different directions. So right now, I don't know what I would definitely do. You know, I do have the feeling that I would want to think about it some, and I do have the feeling that Madison should be there. She should have been there. I think definitely. Nikki Jones, do you think, like I do, that the show killed off Travis way too soon? Yes, I do. Agree. They were just starting to develop him and make him badass. I think it's going to hurt the show. I agree. Yeah. First episode was good. The second was decent. How did Troy shoot so accurately without being able to use his primary eye? He got training from the governor. J.P. Walker Slayer. Hey, Ronnie, do you think Fear's ratings will now just drop drastically because of the Travis death? I don't know. Here, that is awful. It's for something to taste like that, you need whiskey in it. I think this would go perfect with whiskey. Other than that, I can't stomach it alone. Anyway, I don't know if Travis's fan base at this point in time is that big. I do have a feeling that they might have came to a point where they needed to clip somebody because the ratings were dropping. So think about this. You can't clip Madison because she's connected to the family too much. You know, you can't clip Nick because he has a big fan base right now. An active, online, loud fan base. You can't clip Alicia because she also has a huge fan base, especially coming from the 100, which is a younger audience that is an audience that's more active online than Travis's fan base would be. You know what I mean? I guarantee that, because listen, let's face it, the internet the internet's not young. Well, it's kind of young, but it's not all that young. But the people who use it are primarily the younger demographic. So it makes more sense that you would have the younger demographic more active, more vocal. It would be more news, more clicks, more this, more excitement, more da 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 da. So I think he, if you needed to clip someone, is the safest bet. You know what I mean? I think the mom probably would have been. I think the mom probably, in all honesty, I think Clip and Madison would have been better for the fan base. You put Travis in this really unique and unpredictable situation where this group, Travis lost his son, these kids lost their mother, you know what I mean? Travis lost her, his wife. I mean, this is a blended family, truly in the apocalypse. He's going to protect the kids because of his promise to the mom, because he loves the mom and he da-da-da. I think it would have been their best bet, and I like Kim Dickens. I don't want her to leave the show just yet. I wish they have a redemption moment for her with the fan base, but I do feel like she would have been a better bet to kill off instead of Travis, in all honesty. Yeah, anyway. I don't know how it's going to hurt the show, but no matter what happens, no matter how many ratings drop, they're going to bank on season 4 picking those ratings up. They already announced it. It's not an accident. Before season 3, they announced they're making changes. They're worried about the ratings. Maybe they're not worried, but they want them to come up. They want the ratings to come up. The people who invested into Fear the Walking Dead, if they're not all the same people in The Walking Dead, there might be some new people who expected to get The Walking Dead money and they're not getting it. So maybe they're a little nervous, you know what I mean? Or maybe a little impatient and they want The Walking Dead type money. Loose speculation, because I don't look into who is, who has money in it. Mark Scott, Kings 101, King's Un 101. Did it seem very familiar to The Walking Dead when Madison said she would take over the camp? Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Absolutely, it was just like Rick and Alexandria. Meerkat, do you think the guy that has an eye patch will have a confrontation with Madison again? Yeah, I don't think they're setting that up for it to go nowhere. If it goes nowhere, that's pretty weird. They're either doing one of two things. They're setting him up to be a villain, or they're setting him up to be a redemption, ally. An ally that has a redeeming quality. Because we see this in TV all the time. It's really predictable where you get the asshole character, and then eventually people love to hate him, and he becomes cool, and he becomes an ally, and yada, yada, yada. It's very cliche to do with characters, so I think at this point in time, the two most likely routes to take are he's a villain or he's the cliche really dickhead that's going to turn around and be one of the allies later on. What else we got? The only reason Travis died was because he left the show to work on the new Avatar movie. Lenny, not Lenny. Do you have proof on that? If you have, I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm asking, do you have proof? Because if he signed on to Avatar after he was killed off on the show, then probably not. That's probably not true. I will say, I think it's likely maybe he got the Avatar before he was, fired off. Maybe he knew it was coming, so it's hard to say, but I don't think they would ever admit he left for the Avatar movie, you know what I mean? Maybe they will. If there's proof of that, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear that. Because if that's the case, it means that the cast, the cast, or the actors at least, or at least maybe that actor, isn't too confident in the role, Hello Ronnie, one live stream for me. It's almost 6 in the morning where I'm at. You watch Shameless US? No, I don't watch Shameless. One day I'll get around to it, but I haven't watched it yet. Bianca Branch, literally have no idea what direction the show is going. Episode 1 was so good. Episode 2 was no. Maurice, Madison was like Nick. Travis never grabbed my ass like that. That's messed up. Michael Flynn, I thought when they were fighting the walkers, the camera kept jumping around too much. Exactly, I talked about that previously. That was one of my biggest complaints. Whoever directed or edited or whoever was responsible for it being cut in that way Never let them work on the show again, because that was horrible. I don't know if that was an experiment. I don't know if that was someone thinking that is cool and edgy, and people will like it. Listen, if anyone maybe thought that was great, go back and look at it again. They're shaking the camera around. They got multiple cuts. And it's a false sense of excitement. That's all they're doing. They're trying to trick you to make the scene feel and make the scene seem more exciting and interesting than it really is. And it's bullshit. It's not. It's horribly done. Horribly done. Q&A. Thought when they were fighting the... Oh, yeah. For real, I really don't understand the point in them sending Strand in there to force the lady to eat. That part just didn't make sense to me. I think they were just forcing the communication between... or the interaction between the woman who shot him from Season 2... for whatever moment they brought together. I personally could care less about that scene. And yes, I do feel like it was forced. And it was forced in the show because the dude, Hector, brought out the gun like, yeah, yo, you're going in there. Oh, man. Anyway. It was so sad. Meerkat. I did like them referencing Australia, thinking they may be okay. Katie Gat H. Travis had a fan base, ? Laugh aloud. I'm kidding. The dude was badass. He's got somewhat of a fan base. Yeah, all of them to a degree has a fan base. I just don't know how big that fan base is, and I don't know how active that fan base is online. It was weird at the beginning when they were talking about Travis's height and weight. I was thinking, what the fuck? Magic Me. Do y'all think the Whisperers theory may still hold up? I hate the Whisperers theory. I think it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't make any damn sense. Unless you're going to change the Whispers, you know what I mean? Then, okay, maybe. But still, I hate it. I just hate it. Wait. I could do without Luciana. They could have clipped her instead of Travis. Glorious Blazing Fury. Killing Travis off was the biggest mistake they've ever made. I mean, you lost Chris, and they could have made Travis a stone cold killer that we all would have loved. Here's another big thing, too. They have the family dynamic, and then they kill Chris. They killed the mother off in Season 2. The son off. I'm sorry, they killed the mother off in Season 1. The son off in Season 2. Travis off in Season 3. It's baffling. It's like an inside joke somewhere, It's just, I don't know. What was the point of even having the family? We could have focused on, we could have focused on something else. We could have focused on random strangers. Someone in the mob from Season 1, when society was crumbling and cops were shooting at the walkers. We could have focused on some street people who was going from alleyway to store to alleyway, from protest to this scene. Just all the way through, visually seeing how crazy and how society's crumbling down. Cops and ambulance driving in, people don't know what to do, people are dealing with their family and all this crazy shit, people are trying to tie up some of their relatives that are sick now, and this, that, and the third. Just travel the city instead of doing the family shit that didn't go anywhere because you just killed off the family. Anyway, let's find some other questions here. Fear cast are not whispers. No, I don't think so either. Hello, Ronnie. Live stream for me. Oh, okay. You said that again? No, I don't watch Shameless. Let's scroll down. Amy had a better death than The Walking Dead. Stringmaster 03. I'm glad they got Strand out of the hotel, at least, even though he should have left with them. Yeah, he should have left with him. And I'm glad he's out of the hotel. It's just that scene was so dumb. I just came into the chat. What is your overall opinion of the first 2 episodes? Jeffrey McConnell. I'm not going to talk another 20 minutes about that. Just watch the first beginning of this very chat. Rewind it. The first beginning is my opinions. The rest is reading the comments. Ronnie, do you think Madison doesn't feel like a main character? I don't feel like there is a main character. Right now, I don't feel like there is one. I kind of feel like it's a free-for-all, and maybe this season or the next, they'll zero in. I was feeling like the family unit is the main character, but I don't know. Yeah. Wait, I didn't see Travis going far. To be honest, I haven't seen past halfway through Season 2, but I honestly didn't believe anyone would get far except for Nick. That is his name, the Attic, ? I don't know. Yeah, Madison is alpha, Nick is beta. If they listen, no, just no. My God, listen, we got a skinny Negan. We're not getting a little scrawny beta. Fuck no. That is just horrible. That's like saying, let's have Jesus, but no martial arts. He's straight as hell, no beard, short hair. It's like, then it's not Jesus, yo. You know what I mean? I want my beta. You know, we got a Jesus. It's like, let's have a Dwight, but he's a preppy, no burn face. You know what I mean? I hate the idea of having them as whispers. I hate it. Jay Reezy the Legend. Ronnie, do you think it's possible to have Daryl or another character from The Walking Dead walk in the background during a conversation just to fuck with fans? No, I think that's ridiculous. Prime Matrix, you said that the villains being redeemed is cliche. Feel the same about Comic Negan. Well, that is different than what I was talking about. It's similar, but that is totally different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about introducing a character that's a dickhead, not necessarily a big bad villain. Introducing a character who's a jerk, like I think in Prison Break they had that Teabag, right? He was just a shitball, and I think by the end of it, he starts working with and he's buddies with the allies. He is like a villain for some of it, you know. No, he could be more like a Negan character. It's been a while, but I mean those characters where you first meet them and they're dicks. They're not branded as villains, like hardcore villains. And then they turn around and they become an ally. I'm talking about that cliche thing. I'm not talking about villains, straight villains who become good guys, because that's a lot different and a lot rarer than what I was talking about with the dickheads becoming good guys and allies, you know? As far as, if I said the word villain, I definitely misspoke. As far as villains becoming good guys, you asked if it's cliche. At times, yes, it's potentially cliche. Absolutely, it matters on how they handle it. It definitely has the look of more being for fan service than it does being cliche, because cliche, I think the actual definition is, well, not the actual definition, I don't know it word by word, but the reason it's cliche is because it happens often. That's what makes it a cliche. Not a lot of villains, and I'm talking straight villains, not a lot of them turn into good guys. You know what I mean? And yes, in comic books you might have a ton because there's a ton of whatever, but as far as movies, maybe even comic books, I don't know. How many villains have turned into straight allies, good guys, and yada yada yada. With Negan, we need to see how it plays out. We haven't seen it yet. You know, we got hints that maybe he won't be fighting with the good guys, you know, but we haven't seen it yet, so we need to see it. But if you want to call Negan's cliche, go for it, sure. Absolutely. Ronald Tooth, do you think, I think if Negan wasn't as big of a fan, he would stay a villain, possibly die. Ronald Tooth, do you think the retreading of storylines, like you said, just has to do with the lack of possibilities in the world of The Walking Dead? Seems as if the two major issues would always be walkers and other groups. Yes, here's the thing. I've talked previously about what do people want, you know, how different do you want it to be? In the world of The Walking Dead, you either have people or walkers. That's the story. They're surviving. It's either people or walkers. And I stand behind that 100%. But I also stand behind this 100%, that it's not fresh and interesting. And that might seem like a contradiction, but it's not at all, because I'm fine with having problems with people, and I'm fine with having to survive from the walkers, but do it in a different way. You know what I mean? Yes, there's multiple different ways they can do a lot of this stuff that's not similar to how they already did it in the other show, even in the video game, even in this, even in that. In the comic, the show, the companion show, the video game, multiple video games, a lot of the storylines, it's identical, the novels. So you have this world of The Walking Dead, it's in all these different mediums, and we're getting the same stories over and over. I guarantee you one day the fan base is going to get fed up. You know what I mean? It's going to get boring, and The Walking Dead will no longer be where it is now. You know, and a lot of people have said that The Walking Dead peaked around All Out War in the comic book is the peak, the hype of the world of The Walking Dead. I don't agree with that. I do think if we keep retreading the same old shit, yeah, I think the world of The Walking Dead this is as popular as it's gonna get, and it might not have a comeback until 15, 20 years from now. You know what I mean? But I think there's still a lot of potential where they could turn it around. They could make season 8 and season 9 some of the most epic and crazy shit with The Walking Dead, and if they play their cards right, they could do something unique and interesting with Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know about season 3, but damn sure maybe season 4. Absolutely. You want to know one huge refreshing thing they could do with Fear the Walking Dead? One huge thing alone? Nature. Fight nature. Go somewhere where it snows. Just have that. Have survival, the travel, that. You can run into people who it's just unfortunate circumstances where you got, your group, this group, there's not enough meat from this deer, bad shit's gonna happen. Do that for a little bit. Make a story about just survival, not about finding the community to bunker down, not about running into people who are either gonna snatch you up, kidnap you, talk good but really do bad shit around the corner. Run into different shit. Switch it up a little bit. I do think that one little change alone, focusing on the zombies, focusing on the survival horror aspect, in the snow, in the dark, in the cold. Right now I feel like we just get a lot of fast moving shots where you can't really see shit at night. It should be slow and methodical. You should build on the tension, and it should be like a rubber band. You have someone at night, maybe even use the sound, the creaks of the woods, the crunch of the snow, and it's like a rubber band you're pulling back, and you don't even have to have anything outstanding or amazing happen in that moment. You have something that is, intense that happens, and it could be a number of different things, but build it as a rubber band stretching back to that, Anyway, I fucking gotta get some of these questions. I'm gonna keep rambling. But here's the thing. Yeah, there is a little bit of problems you could run into with the world of The Walking Dead, strictly because there's not a lot of setup outside of the world is full of walkers and good people or bad people. We haven't seen much other than that. So maybe when the day comes and they get real desperate, they'll have to venture into new ground. It looks like they're doing it in the comic book, but we're not sure yet, We got Garrett Farmer and Sweetheart. Sweetheart. But it's, never mind. It's SWEE space THEART with the super chats. Huge thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that. Let's find some more questions. Our time is running low. The Walking Dead LM says Gimple is only a episode for Fear. I don't know what you're trying to say, but if you're trying to say that he's only doing an episode, you're wrong. He's, an executive producer from season 4 on. I don't know how long. It's not like something he's going to do for one episode. He's not directing it just the one episode. He is an executive producer, and I think that is, they don't do executive producers for one episode, not that I know of. AMC showed extra scene where Jeremiah Otto put together his prepper ranch about 10 years before the zombie apocalypse. I thought I saw that. It was like a commercial, right? With all the mini episodes during The Walking Dead have a better payoff this season. Will the mini episodes during The Walking Dead have a better payoff this season? I don't know what you're talking about. What mini episodes? Agree. Sick of the hotel storyline. Yeah, hell yeah. Ophia might have stopped by the ranch and then left to find her lost boyfriend or find her dad. At this point in time, she thinks her dad is definitely dead, right? I think she's still there because, listen, we saw in the trailer, she's with the guys, and it looks like she's walking a perimeter. So I think the reason we don't see her now is because she's walking a perimeter. What else we got? Spin. Ronnie, how do you feel about David Erickson as the showrunner? David Erickson, I don't know a lot of his work. I just know him because they said, Sons of Anarchy. So I figured we would be getting something amazing. At this point in time, I don't know if David Erickson's just not a right fit for it, or if he has a different idea that somebody else is trimming him back on, but there's a problem there. There's definitely a creative problem. There's too many things that are just wildly similar, almost exact from all the other forms of storytelling for The Walking Dead, with even the comic book to the TV show. It's similar to exact, and it's a large portion of what we're seeing. We already saw it, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to sit there and say, no, he's a bad fit, but he might just be, you know what I mean? He just might be, so I don't know. I guess we'll see in season 4 if the showrunners come in and they do some crazy shit and we absolutely love it. Then yeah, I guess he was just a bad fit for it, you know. Lion Hero Entertainment. How would you rate the 2 episodes from 0 to 10? Well, episode 2 gets a 1, you know, because ain't shit happened. You have a character that died and it made it stupid, and then you had them just getting to a place. We've seen all this shit before. Again, same chick, different dress. And then episode 1, for a premiere episode, I see why they did a double episode. For a premiere episode, there was not a lot of excitement, not a lot of thrilling stuff. There's not even a lot of complex storytelling here. There's nothing that's deep. It's all surface level, spoon-fed, just some cool, you know, nothing special zombie movie. You know what I mean? That's basically it. But episode 1, I don't need something outstanding, amazing premiere. Just entertain me, you know, for that hour. That's it. I don't want the first episode and the finales to be the best, outstanding. Just sit down, tell a good fucking story, and don't worry about what episode you're at. So with episode 1, I'd probably give it a 6, because there was a lot of the stronger beats, like the reunion, for example. Those stronger beats could have been amped up, I feel. Not amped up, but made better. But the shit was in season 2, but you know what I mean. I was just thinking about some of the better moments. It kind of goes away now, and it's kind of shit, because a lot of the better moments dealt with Travis. I think I like Travis, you know, a lot in the first season of season 3, and I think that's what made episode 2 so weird, because I thought it was a dream sequence, because I was like, you had Travis in episode 1, every scene he was in, every moment, it really brought it around. I was like, you know what, this might be a tight season. This might be a really tight season. And then in the very beginning, in the intro, in a helicopter with just an averagely done death. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't magic on screen. It didn't rip your guts out. It felt like a dream sequence they just threw in there randomly, but it was the intro, just a quick, oh, here's Fear of the Walking Dead, here's a character dead. So some of the excitement stuff in episode 1 now feel kind of pointless, because the dude just dies right away anyway. Do you think people losing their eye is getting old? It happened in the games, in the comic, in the show. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I think until fans stand up and start saying, okay, guys, no more. And for fans who are sitting there saying, no, we love the show, love it anyway, you know? Think about it. If I say, listen, guys, you know, Kirkman called me and he wants me to write a webisode for the internet, I'm going to sit down and I got a great idea. This is so amazing, I'm going to get an Oscar. I'm going to that's not true, but still, I'm going to sit down and write this story about how this lead character gets his eye stabbed out. And then he creates walker pets, and he, you know, covers himself in guts, and he walks to this place where this guy is like a mafia guy, and he makes people work for him, and he's gotta, you know, go out and, you know, scavenge stuff and give it back to the mafia guy. It's gonna be crazy, mafia in the old world, or the zombie apocalypse world. And then he's gonna run into this community, and he's gonna think it's safe, but the mafia guy, you know, sends the mobsters to kick in the door, and they bring in walkers, and, you know, it's a herd of walkers. All we got is a retread with the governor and all the eye shit. We got a retread of Negan with the, you know, mafioso shit. We got a retread of Alexandria, retread of No Way Out. I'm talking about everything that's similar. The writers should... No, my main point was, if that happened, if Kirkman called me and said, hey, da-da-da-da, the fan base would shit down my throat. They would be like, Ronnie, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. You know, you've gotten a chance in a lifetime, and you fucking ruined it. You're a waste of space. Go kill yourself. You know what I mean? Because everything I wrote and did would be shit we've seen before. So when they do it officially, Why do a lot of the fan base get defensive and say, no, 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 you're being too picky, you're being too hard? No, 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 no. The truth is, Fear the Walking Dead is not as good as it should be. Bottom line. There's no two ways around it. And it doesn't mean you are an idiot for liking it. It doesn't mean you have a shitty taste for liking it. It doesn't mean you have, anything wrong with you for liking it. Again, I've said this time and time again, I like stupid shit. You know what I mean? That's one thing I see constantly that gets a little frustrating. Some people get a little sensitive, like, okay, you don't like it, so now it's a problem, you're an idiot, and it's perfect. It's just not, it's not. It has problems. But yeah, I agree. A lot of stuff is getting old. Hey Ronnie, I hate the intro song for Fear the Walking Dead first episode, but the second episode was much better. Also, congrats to Fear for making actual good episodes. Worst episodes ever, full of plot holes and nonsense. Negan, no fucking awesome psychopath. You think the Walking Dead universe will last decades, Ronnie? I hope it lasts that long. Laugh out loud. Like what they're setting up for Game of Thrones. Listen, the Walking Dead, I've said this time and time again, it'll be here now and forever. It's here. How much of it will be here and what part of it will be here, that is up in the air. But at least one thing, at the very least, will always be around for the next 50 years. And again, that could just be the comic, it could just be one show, it could be a movie series. Because keep in mind, if the TV show flatlines and it's gone tomorrow, in a year or 2 or 3 years, they'll bring it out in a movie, definitely. They're not letting go of this franchise. It's a done deal. It is here, and they're going to milk it to death, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think Resident Evil should absolutely 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, get a reboot into a movie franchise. But if it doesn't take place in a mansion, you ruined it already. You absolutely ruined it already. I wouldn't be surprised if the real zombie apocalypse happens in decades. The music was good. Props for Atticus Ross. Sorry, but I gave up after season 1. The Walking Dead is amazing, but Fear the Walking Dead just isn't a good show, in my opinion. It should have been amazing. Go back and check out season 2, though. Go back and check out season 3. I know season 2 was, it was different than season 1. I think that is the most problematic, in my opinion, but you never know. You might like season 3 if you come back around. I feel a little stuffy. I don't know why. Jeffrey McConnell. I thought they were going to see Travis become the governor now that he's lost so much and gone so dark. I was literally shocked that Travis really got killed. Yeah, I could see how that's shocking, yeah. I thought it was shocking. Not shocking. Well, no, that's not true because so many people were like, Travis is gone because of Avatar. So there's only so much you could take here and that, and then you're like, yeah, he's probably going to go. So right when they were having that trouble, I thought, they better not. They better not. There's no way. They better not. What do we got? Why would they kill Travis? He was the best developed character. I don't know. Did they completely write off Alex, that Asian girl? Yeah, this is the shit I don't get with Fear the Walking Dead. They make such a stink about doing this web series, and then the web series is going to follow a character that, what do they say? The character is going to join the cast of Fear the Walking Dead for season 2, That was a lie. That was a straight lie. She ran into the cast for what? 4 minutes in the one episode, and then she was in, 4 minutes in another episode, and that was it. It's just shit like that. I don't know what they're thinking. I just don't know what they're thinking at all. I heard Cliff Curtis wanted off the show. Is this true? No one knows that yet. Depends on where you heard that from. If you heard that from a random comment online, then I don't think that came from any official source. So let us know where you heard that. Because I think he probably either wanted off the show or, he found something different or something else to do, because the death just seemed like it didn't do shit for the story. Again, unless they're going to go the direction where Madison goes after the people who shot down the helicopter. But I just feel like that's a weak thing, because essentially it's just revenge, you know, when you could have taken this character and developed so much more with it. I don't know. Hey Ronnie, when do you think they'll bring Daniel back? I don't know, but I want to. They might as well. I mean, Travis is gone. We need to bring someone back that has some charisma, and I think Daniel has some charisma. I didn't hear any news yet about Cliff, so I didn't see it coming at all. There's more chance of seeing Tobias than Alex. Either one of them, bring them back. Any one of them. We need some characters that we like, you know. Alex, I'll take your word for it, brother. I'll watch season 3 now. Oh man. I'm just saying, give it a shot. Don't watch it and come back hate me because, and I'm just being honest, I would not confidently tell friends to watch Fear the Walking Dead. I was just speaking to my brother today, and he asked me in all honesty, and I don't bullshit when it comes to telling people, you know, this is a good movie, watch it. Like when I saw Logan in the theater, I hit my brother up, you gotta see that. It was off the hook. And then he watches it, and he's like, oh man, that was off the hook. I told him today, I said straight up, he stopped watching in the, like on episode 9 or something in season 2 because he just thought it was boring, him and his wife. And I told him straight up, it doesn't get any better. I don't have a recommendation for it because I asked if he was going to watch season 3, and he's like, I'm going to get around to it. He likes it, but he put it this way. I think he is the same as a lot of people that were watching it. They like it, but there's so many other things that is more interesting. They don't have time for it. You know what I mean? And they may never have time for it because by the time they get some time, they're not interested anymore. And that's I don't know. Cliff was really making light of things on Talking Dead. I got the sense he didn't give a fuck, or he was angry. Yeah, he was goofing off. So maybe he was, maybe he didn't know about it, you know, and he's just like, fuck it. But keep in mind, he filmed it a lot, you know, he filmed it a while ago. So even though we're just seeing it die now, and I know you guys know this, but I'm just saying it's something to think about. For him, he's been dead for a while, so it's probably like whatever to him, you know. He's moving on. He's got the Avatar sequels to work on, so... Jack Gutman. Not only was Travis a complete badass, unlike everyone else, he had so much potential with the death of his son and his new morality. I loved it. Listen, when Travis, he did one moment where, what did he do? Oh shit. I think it was when they were lining them up and he said something. I was like, fuck. Yeah, I think, you know what? Killing Travis hurt my interest in the show a lot. A lot. Because I don't know, I felt like they were going somewhere really strong with him, especially in this episode. And not just about being a badass, but, you know, you had a dynamic where Madison could have been the brains and Travis could have been the brawn. You know what I mean? She could have been the brains of, oh my God, never mind. I forget I said that. God forbid in this day and age you talk about a man doing the muscle work and the woman doing anything that has intelligence. String me up. But seriously, they had a good set of potential. I'm not saying Madison can't handle her own. God forbid, if you don't have a character that's a female that's a badass nowadays, it's like you ain't doing shit. But they could have went a good direction. I don't know. I've heard it from someone else who claims they saw the interview on YouTube. Well, if you have a link for that interview, I would love to, absolutely love to read it or watch it, so then we can discuss it in another video. Dang, I was going to give the show another chance. I did after seeing it. I have to say, I agree with everything you've been saying. It's unfortunate, man. You know what? Some of you, especially some of you who are like, oh, Ronnie, you pick on the show. You really do not understand how much I want this show to be fantastic. I despise having to say negative stuff about it. All I want is for, you know, it to be perfect, so we don't ever have to. Once in a while we can talk about, oh, this, why did they not put the candy bar in the one little hole? There's all these holes, you know what I mean? Pick on some of the smaller stuff, but I can't, I'm not the type to sit here and bullshit, you know, and tell you dumb shit like, you know, whatever. Ronnie, how did you feel about Madison's reaction to Travis's death? I thought that was weak. I thought they dropped the ball on that hardcore. That should have been a hard moment. Like Maggie lost Glenn, and I thought it ripped out my guts. You know, don't sit there and say, oh, but Glenn was 4 seasons or, you know, 5 seasons. You know, that it doesn't matter if it's 4, 5, 6 seasons or if it's 3. I mean, it's going to matter somewhat. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, because you grow such an attachment over how many years. I'm not going to lie, but you could have reached some level like that, you know, some level. When Maggie had that moment, man, oh my God, it ripped my guts out. There was a moment in Lost where it was like a punch in the gut. It was where Sawyer lost Juliet. I was like, oh, that's rough. That's rough. Nothing for this. It was just like, oh, there's no tears. I don't know if that's the actress or the director, but that's gay. Just kidding. Dude, I'm watching it now and I'm pissed. What was the point in developing his character to more of a badass in season 2 than ever? What is the point? Exactly. What is the fucking point? Epic Zombie Killer. Hey, Ronnie, what do you think of season 3 so far, aside from the death? Do you think this season is better? No, not at all. There's stuff I like, but better than what? Better than season 1? No. Better than season 2? Anything's better than season 2. The premiere and episode 1 and 2 is definitely leaps and bounds better than season 2. Absolutely. Absolutely. Season 1, I don't know. As far as having action, zombies, and stuff going on, I don't think that's a fair judge, you know, because season 1 is starting to build up this world. Season 3, you're in it. You got characters, you got action, you got zombies, you got gore, you got... I don't think it's fair to compare this and season 1. Not at all. But it is definitely fair to compare, a little bit fair, because they were still, you know, starting fresh on the boat. So it's almost not fair to compare season 2 in a way. But Fear the Walking Dead is a guilty pleasure show, to be honest. A lot of people tell me that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I have guilty pleasure shows. Kurt Cobain. Hey, Ronnie, do you think Madison can be Fear the Walking Dead version of Rick Grimes, since they both lost their spouses? I also noticed her making big decisions like Rick. Can she be the Rick? I don't know. You know, she could be a leader character, sure, but I don't want her to be like Rick, you know. Then again, if she's the leader, you're going to say she's like Rick. I want her to be something different, unique, and interesting, but still a leader, you know, but go a different way, you know. But it's possible. It's absolutely possible. At this moment in time, it's looking like it's the only way to go. Think about this logically. Look at the cast. It's either Madison, you know, or the kids, you know what I mean? Or they're going to split that up to where it's Madison and a kid, but there's nowhere they can go unless they decide, you know what, we're going to kill the cast and we're going to bring up a new cast. If they start bringing up a new cast of characters, like a couple people from this ranch, you know what I mean, they might one day take the chance and be like, listen, we got to kill the family. We started with the family, and again, even though I have problems with the show, I think we started with the family. It's about the family, you know what I mean? I don't want to see any other characters, so it's iffy. It's definitely iffy. Torha Ferguson. Please, no more live reviews. I don't have time to watch our video, but want to hear your words. Tora and anyone else, for the love of God, not listening to this for the 500 millionth time, we've talked about this. The live reviews are not for you. If you don't like them, you don't want them. If you don't have an hour, you don't have 30 minutes, they're not for you. They're just not. They're not. We have the first 20 minutes. I watched the clock. The first 20 minutes of this video is my thoughts and opinions. The rest, we are live chit-chatting. I'm not going to, just because you don't like it, I'm not going to shut everyone else out of a live video. You want to hear my thoughts only? Watch the first 20 minutes and then leave. You know, no one's putting a gun to your head. Electric Joe. I think we're going to do another follow-up video, and I'm going to do clickbait and get everyone to watch it, because a lot of people talk about, you know, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. And when I do an update video telling people, no one watches it. And that's with all YouTube channels. That's why everyone uses clickbait on that shit or puts updates somewhere in the beginning of regular videos. Electric Joe. But don't expect much. I will never give this show another chance. I gave every season a chance, and this season, killing Travis, that was the last straw. I've seen that comment a number of times. I don't know how many. I don't foresee it being huge, but I've been seeing that quite a bit. Cliff will be missed, though. Great actor. Yeah, I thought he was one of the best. He was probably one of the one of the stronger range-wise. Might have been the strongest. It's shocking they would choose him. People talking about Travis being a badass have a short memories. He was only a badass in 3 episodes, and it mostly came out of nowhere because up until then he was a big fucking pussy. I don't think that people talking about him being badass, I don't think they're talking about him being badass through every single episode and every single moment. I don't think that's what they're saying at all. So I don't think that statement is really fair to the people saying that, he's become such a badass, because when I'm reading them, they're talking about development. They're talking about where he's at now, and he's not being a pussy now, even though you could call him a bitch in the first 5 episodes of, season 1, that doesn't take away from what he's done since then. So I don't think that statement's fair. Cliff is getting paid. Why would he care? Joe saw that part, and I'm angry as well. What do we got here? Oh shit, we went over a couple minutes. Let's knock out a couple questions, and then we're gonna get rolling. I really have to get going now. We can't do the I talk for another hour though, because I gotta get my daughter up for school. Live reviews, Q&As are kick-ass. Thank you very much. Q&A. Are you going to talk about Days Gone when we see it at E3? I might. Yeah, I might. But I'm just gonna play it anyway, no matter what. So. What's wrong with the live reviews? There's the same 10 people saying it over and over again. I've talked about it, if you don't like the long videos, those videos are not for you. I am subscribed to a number of channels that constantly do live videos, and I don't have an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to watch their videos. All I do is I don't watch them. You know what I mean? I don't understand. The world of YouTube is like, if you don't make a video that hits the needs and wants of every single person at every single moment, they are the first to tell you what to do to change. And I think listening to the audience as a whole, I think it can help and it can hurt sometimes, because some people will be really vocal, and in truth you change to that, and a lot of people are like, well, no, we didn't want that. But at the end of the day, this is YouTube. If you only have 10 minutes, watch 10 minutes, go back. And this is what I do. I'm talking from experience. Hour-long vid. I'll watch 10 minutes when I got 10 minutes. I'll watch 20 minutes when I got 20 minutes. I'll go back to the video on my history list. It's easy as hell. It's the easiest way to watch entertainment on the face of the planet. You know what I mean? Because everything's logged. Every time you watch something, it's in your history list. Anyway, let me shut up and let's get some of these questions. Last of Us 2 at E3, please God. I hope they have something. I don't think they're going to have a whole lot, so don't get your hopes up, but I think they have something. I think the hug was to throw the guards off, look weak and scared when it serves their purpose. I'm not buying the whole look weak and scared bit, because ever since then they're acting all tough. You know what I mean? So I'm not buying that at all. But I do agree that, yeah, it was to hug and to show the gun. You know what I mean? Like everything's, it's all natural. You know what I mean? But as far as the gun, I don't know. I think she could have just hugged him and said, I have a gun. It came off as weird. Are you going to talk about Days Gone? Oh, we already did that one. Now that Travis is dead, the only character I'm really interested in is Jeremiah Otto. I like him from Sons of Anarchy. I'm really excited for him as a character. I hope he doesn't die next Sunday. Looking forward to see how his character develops. Getting up in the morning to see you talk, great. Thanks. Best regards from Germany. Keep doing it. Great. I appreciate the support. Even if I missed a live, I'm glad you saved them so I could go back and watch them. Yeah, the thing with the live, though, is they go unlisted. So it might be a couple hours when we shut it down until you can watch it again. But I'm going to go in the settings and change that. I think I could change that. Hey, Ronnie, what was your reaction to Madison stabbing that guy in the eye with the spoon? I did a shake my head because it was, the governor. Literally, it's comic governor, and now it's going to be TV governor, only because I want new and fresh, and it's the same shit. It's the same shit, I didn't sit there and go, oh, I hate it, though. I was like, it's cool. I think it's a little unrealistic that she walked the whole way with it, in his eye and all that. But I think it's cool. It's tough. It's badass. It's the gore porn that I like. So, hey, Ronnie, where are we at? Quick change of pace. What are your quick thoughts for the comic coming out Wednesday? They had quite the issue to follow. A quick thoughts. I want to see what's going on with the Saviors and Dwight. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into it now though, because right now we're talking about Fear the Walking Dead. Ronnie, would a time skip help the show? No, not at all. What would be the point of a time skip? And I assume you're talking about Fear the Walking Dead. Time skip at this point in time doesn't do anything. A time skip for example, for The Walking Dead after the war, it does something important because it shows us what they have been fighting and dying for this whole time. It shows us the world they created. With Fear the Walking Dead, just like a time skip wasn't all that important in season 1. Yes, it showed us, they built the perimeters, they have a structure going. The time skip needs to have a purpose. And the only purpose it would do is bring some characters closer together living in the compound, as far as the new characters and the characters we know and love. And that would be pointless for a time skip because we need to see that growth in order to become attached to the characters also. So I don't think a time skip would do any good. It would probably hurt them more than it would do any good. That's what I thought about the eyeball thing. Troy walks like the governor too, hands on his hips, laugh out loud. Oh my God, he does. Why did Fear the Walking Dead skip the breakdown of society? ? I don't know. I have no idea. I completely forgot about Ophelia until I watched The Talking Dead. Nothing natural about that hug. Laugh out loud. Ron, wait. I saw something. Troy, wait. Did Troy shoot the chopper? No. I was under the impression they might. You know what? If they do that, it's dumb. I'm sorry. If they do that, I hate it. I think what you're trying to say is Troy. No, because Madison was with them. There's no way. Madison was with them, and she would know if he shot down the chopper. There's no way. It was a different group that shot down the chopper, and we'll see that group later on. If they tried to do with the old fakeroo and say it was Troy, I'm not buying that at all. All right, good night. Yeah, Thought Factory. I'm going in 2 minutes exact. Well, 1 minute now. We got to really... No. Yeah, 1 minute. How cool was the walker pull the guy into the wall? I like that. I like that. Just for the gore stuff. Good old-fashioned zombie gore. His face was like... Could Fear the Walking Dead group be the Ohio group from the comic? Not likely. The Ohio group is in Ohio. I think maybe Madison just wanted to grab a quick bite of eye cream with her spoon. Oh, hey Ronnie, what was your reaction to the guy being dragged through the wall? I like that. What do we got? The first episode had a Terminus vibe when they were playing it like a game of OCD, or yeah, that had a Terminus vibe. What was your favorite moment in the episode? The rats, the walker scene. Yeah, I like the moments with some of my favorite moments. Sorry, I'm like freaking out. It's not about the action. Like I like for a zombie movie, I like the guy going through the wall. Sure. But one of my favorite all-time most memorable moments is when they shoot the guy and Nick is hugging Lucy and they pan over and Travis is badass. Like when it's slow burn, when you have an awesome moment or a scene, I love those moments. 10 times more than just empty action or empty shock and awe. I feel like Travis's death was just empty, unless we see where it goes with the people shooting the helicopter down and yada yada yada. But only time will tell with that one. Put some idiot in timeout. We're going anyway. Let me take 2 more questions. Jeff Kerrigan, I think this season will be like the farm season on The Walking Dead. I hope not. We have to think about it. Okay, you have the community, right? And this community is all set up to live in a world like a post-apocalypse. What needs to happen? You need conflict. Who's the conflict with? And I'm talking about how predictable writers are. Conflict is king in Hollywood. You always need conflict, which is something I disagree with, but it's the best way to get everyone on point with writing. So you need conflict with our gang of survivors with the people they're living with. Is it serious permanent conflict, or is it just temporary filler conflict? They'll have a little bit of both, I think. And then from that point on, they might venture out. They might do perimeter checks. They might get visitors same people that took part in shooting the helicopter down. Now you have a conflict between two groups, you know, and I really think at this point in time, the most predictable thing would be a conflict between two groups. Or you have Madison and them taking over the compound, which is extremely problematic. These are people that set up this compound to live. You know what I mean? They're friends. They've done this together. It's not like Alexandria where you have a bunch of scared survivors and Rick can just show them he will protect them and keep them safe, and the survivors fall into line. It is very, very different. So I think if you look at everything going on, yeah, I think it's interesting to see where it goes, but I think they need to take something that's unique, new, and fresh and add it to the conflict instead of just being a different gang. If it is the different gang, what do they want? Again, the most predictable thing, they want the compound because they are set up. You know what I'm saying? So how predictable are they going to make it? I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping everything I said is completely wrong. Jason Bruzowski, did you also think it was a waste of time when Unser made Madison sign for the gun? Yeah. But I get what they're doing. I get what. Listen, if I had a compound like him, I would keep everything logged and cataloged. Absolutely. You don't want people just taking guns. The next thing you know, you're like, where are the guns? If people sign for the guns, you can go, listen, we're running low. Where are the guns? Okay, they're in this, this, and this, and this. And then you could go and collect them for whatever reason. If you have crime, you know, you might most likely have crime. All right, well, we need to take people's guns because there's a lunatic. If a serial killer, if you take one in and someone starts, you know, well, you're going to hear the shots. But you know what I'm saying. I agree they should keep inventory. All right, good night, everyone who's heading out. I'm heading out, too. Last question. Hey, Ronnie, do you think Fear the Walking Dead were following a group of villains? Native Americans shot down the chopper, just my opinion. Dave G, you're only saying that because we saw Native Americans in the trailer. Let's hope they don't get that predictable. It is definitely possible. It's the only people we saw in the trailer, but as far as Fear the Walking Dead following villains, that is possible. That's probably the most different thing they've done since The Walking Dead. We've followed good people. Well, it's a gray area in this world now, but if Fear the Walking Dead is villains, that would be different. Alright guys, I really gotta go, absolutely. Glad I was able to. Alright, thank you very much for everyone stopping by and checking out the live stream. I'm gonna do a video explaining the live streams tomorrow because if we can get this tweaked a little bit better, I will do the beginning of the live stream. The first 20 minutes will be my thoughts and opinions, and then afterwards will be a free-for-all. And then keep in mind, especially for The Walking Dead, we're going to have the original old-fashioned review the following day. So we're not, you know, the live streams aren't taking place of the old review. The live stream's just a first impression instead of whatever. I already discussed this. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Alright guys, thank you very much for coming by. I'm done talking. Put all your thoughts and opinions. And if you're new here and watching this after it was lived, I'm going to bed. I'm drunk. Ronnie, you're drunk. Go home.